Hello and welcome to Crystal January Wellness. I'm Crystal January and I am going to be dedicating this channel to being all about how you can help yourself to be well. And I'm so excited to be teaching you about the things that I'm going to be teaching about because it's just like it excites me in my bones. So I'm so excited to be sharing this with you, and I hope that you will subscribe to this channel and like this video and keep coming back for more. So first of all, I would just like to say that what made me really decide to start a channel talking about wellness, because it's something that I have been working on for myself, being well, because I do believe that wellness is an action. It's an actively pursued goal, and it's something that you do. It's something that you do with your mind, with your emotions, and your physical body. So that's just we'll get into all of that later. First of all, I would just like to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am an RTT practitioner. RTT stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy, and that is a healing modality that uses light hypnosis in order to get in touch with your subconscious mind and achieve your conscious goals. Because there's so many times that we have these conscious goals, you have these ideals we want to live up to, or things that we want for our life so desperately, but there just seems to be something that is holding back. There's a barrier that we can't break through, and the reason that is because even though you consciously really want to get that new job, there's something inside of your subconscious mind, which if you think of the subconscious mind as the body, makes a lot more sense. There's something in your subconscious mind that is telling you that you aren't deserving, that it's not available to you. And so RTT helps you to figure out where that started, and then helps you to rewrite that script so that you can move forward with a new perception. And then on top of RTT, there is a sub-type of RTT called cell command therapy. And I am so excited to share that one with you, because that is all to do with your physical body and the physical diseases or aches, pains, whatever it is. All of those things had an emotional beginning. And we're going to figure out together what that emotional beginning is, and then again to rewrite your script, rewrite your perception that is existing in your subconscious body, your subconscious mind, and help you to move forward as a new creation. And if you think about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind is, of course, the mind that we think with, that we process thought with. That's our processor. But the subconscious mind is much more like our body. It's this series of experiences that have made up us. And that actually begins to happen halfway through the gestation period. As soon as you begin to develop a nervous system, the moment that you have a nervous system, all of those behaviors, all those experiences are beginning to add up, and that is what makes you, you. And now those behaviors, that subconscious mind, that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than your conscious mind. So if your subconscious mind is not in line with your conscious goals, it is not going to happen. I've got to tell you that right now. You have to get your subconscious mind in line with your conscious goals in order to move forward and achieve the things that you want by becoming a new person. So with all of that in mind, I guess I'm going to go back to the beginning and tell you how I got into this whole idea of wellness and believing that I'm in control of my wellness. I guess I really started this channel because I feel like God just put it on my heart to begin this, because there's so many people right now with COVID who have relinquished their wellness. And I know it is the mass consciousness in our society that says, I need a doctor to tell me how to be well. And if I'm around a sick person, well, then I could get sick too. And of course, that's what everybody believes right now. And I am here to tell you, and I will back up the things that I say with some research from doctors and other data from positive psychology and the field of positive health. And it's just so exciting to be learning about this stuff because it's so factual, and there's so many doctors out there working to help bring this information to light. And I feel so blessed to have fallen into fallen in line to research their work and to study it, and now I get to share it with you. So you absolutely are in control of your wellness, and if you are giving up the responsibility of your wellness to either a doctor or to individuals around you, well, you are at the mercy of your environment, and that's not the way that we're supposed to exist. We're not supposed to exist in fear, and we're not supposed to be giving up our wellness as the responsibility of others. I am responsible for my wellness. You are responsible for your wellness. The person down the street is responsible for their wellness, and I'm going to explain in detail how that is. So, and even tell you on a cellular level how that happens and how that all works out, and how you can actually have all these toxins in your body and diseases present in your blood right now, but your body chooses not to act on them because of your immune system. So first of all, I would just like to tell you, I guess, a little bit about my journey and how I decided that I could influence my wellness. It really all started when I learned about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is, it's discovered by quantum physics, and it's really the study of quantum physics and how in this universe there is energy, and there seems to be a source of all energy, and so that source of energy is playing with us, it's interacting with us. And so when I put out a certain vibe, a certain vibration, when I have giving off energy that is at a certain vibration, then that vibration has to come back to me. So I will literally be attracting the things back to me that are at the same vibration as the energy that I'm giving off. So I literally have to attract those things to me. There's no other choice. So if I am in a low vibrational state, which is like shame, sadness, guilt, hate, anger, frustration, those are low vibrational energy. And so if I'm acting that way, those are the kind of things that have to come back to me. So as long as I'm on that energy plane, then that's I'm going to continue to bring that back to me more and more and more and more. And that's why optimism is so important. And optimism's not to be confused with positivity. Positivity is having, a happy-go-lucky attitude and, feeling like, oh, spunky. That's not really optimism. Optimism is expecting a positive outcome. So, so yes, also same as if I am operating at a low vibration, if I'm operating at a high vibration, such as be on the energy plane as love and thankfulness and gratefulness and joy and beauty, then all of those things are going to come back to me because they literally have to. That's, if you think of ourselves as the strongest transmission tower in the universe, because that is what we are. We are the strongest transmission towers in the universe. And so our higher consciousness, our higher self, is constantly giving off of energy and having that energy come back to us. And so I had learned recently that animals, they don't need words because they are experiencing each other's energy. And a gazelle doesn't need to be close to a lion or to talk to him in order to know what his energy is, to know that she needs to get the hell out of there before that lion gets her. So and I had heard that our language is actually the reason why, as humans, we're not as good at reading each other's energy as we maybe could be. But even though we have language, and that makes it so we aren't paying attention to each other's energy as much because we're listening to each other's words, we still do, on a subconscious level, understand and read each other's energy on a regular basis. So, and that's why I think, if someone creepy comes into, where you are, you kind of pick up on that vibe real quick because you have read that person's energy. So the law of attraction, the first time I ever heard about it, it was The Power by Rhonda Burns, which is actually the sequel to The Secret. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about The Secret. And I have to admit to you that the first time I heard The Power, it was on an audio CD that a girlfriend had gotten me. And I was like, this is blasphemy. That was my thought process about it. I was like, this is blasphemy, because I was raised in the Christian church, and I was taught that as a Christian, you don't seek anything outside of God for your answers for life. And so I took that thing out of my car. I think I broke it and threw it away and was like, I will never listen to that again. And it was not until I had spoke with a friend who told me about The Secret, and I was like, oh, I don't listen to that kind of thing, because that is outside of God. And I had actually gone to church with this person, and he was like, no, you don't understand. The Secret is God. And he was like, you need to watch it. You need to watch the movie The Secret, and you'll understand. And so I did go home and I watched The Secret, and I think it was Michael Bernard Beckwith who was talking about how, in this quantum physics law of attraction, that there is a source of all energy, and that source of all energy doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end, it knows all, it is all. Everything, it exists in everything, and everything exists in it, and they just call it energy. But then in theology, in any type of religion, they would say that God, doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end. He is all things are in him. And I think the only difference between the law of attraction and Christianity is that, or I don't even want to just limit it to Christianity because it's all religion. In all religion, God has love for us. And I do believe that that energy source is the source of all love, and it is wanting to help us. It's asking us to rise to the occasion, to act in faith. One of my favorite lines in the Bible, verses in the Bible, is Hebrews 11:11. It's faith is the substance, and I just love that. Faith is the substance. So it's like almost tangible, it's the substance of the things hoped for and the evidence of the things unseen. So faith is the evidence of the things unseen. And I really think that that's what the Bible teaches us. It wants us, that we're supposed to be acting in faith, trusting in God, that if we move forward, if we act, that God is going to meet us there in that place and help us to succeed. And that is exactly what I have learned through the law of attraction, that when you just begin to step out in faith and become the person who already has exactly what it is that you want, then that thing has to come back to you, because that's the energy that you're giving off. And so it was through this learning about the law of attraction, which in religious terms, I believe it is the Holy Spirit. And it's exactly how the Holy Spirit works in our lives. And so as I learned about this law of attraction, I had begun to believe that I could influence my own wellness. And I began to do this because I was getting sick a lot. I was getting colds that would just last for like a month straight. It would start out as a cough, and that would go on for a week, and then that would go away, and then I would have like a runny nose, stuffy nose, waking up not being able to breathe out of my nose or only breathing out of one nostril, so frustrating. And maybe a fever would come with that part of it, and then that would go away, and then I would start to get mucus just clogged in my throat and just like hacking stuff up every single day. And then that part always lasts 2 weeks at least. And so I was getting sick a lot, and I was just kind of sick of it. And I thought, what if I could influence my body to stop doing this with the law of attraction? I don't know. I'm just going to try it. Kind of crazy. It's kind of my thought process was. And so I did. I tried it. I began to meditate on the feelings. That's what we're taught in the law of attraction, to incorporate not just your thoughts, but your feelings, and to incorporate those two in a visualization in your mind that plays out like a movie that you're emotionally involved in, like a memory that has not yet happened. So you are experiencing it as if you are in that moment now. Whatever it is that you want, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you experience that as if you have it right now. So you experience it with your heart, your emotions, your spirit, and with your mind. And you create this whole, it's like a fantasy in your mind. But it's your body practicing to achieve that thing, and also to be thanking the universe or thanking God for that thing right now, and to act as if you have it, because that's what faith is, right? To act as if we already have it, to embody the person that would already have that. So I just began to do that visualization in a meditation. And so I would, in the beginning, I was in Florida, and I remember I started to get a cough, and I was like, gosh, I don't want to be on vacation and getting sick. That's just gonna stink. And so I sat down on my bed, and I began to do my visualization meditation, and I really tried to think about how I would be if I was completely well right now. What would I experience? How would I feel? What would I do? How would I act? What would I say? If I was well right now. And I really didn't do it for long, probably like 30 seconds to 60 seconds. I was not super dedicated, I guess, even though it doesn't need to be a long time, because that worked. Those symptoms went away on the spot. And was that a coincidence? Maybe it was. I don't know. But it was enough to make me realize maybe I've got something here, and I want to keep going with it and figure out if it is a real thing. And so I kept doing that. And it was a good thing that I did, because I was at the house in Florida, and a lot of my family had gone on a cruise. And so when they came back from the cruise, a couple of them already had norovirus, and they were spreading it to the rest of us throughout the house. And every single night, another person would be up puking their guts out in the bathroom, and I would wake up and be like, oh my gosh, please don't be me next. And so then one day I woke up and I was like, oh no. When you just feel like, oh my gosh, this isn't gonna be a good day. And I was like, okay, you know what? I just started this meditation wellness thing. I'm just gonna really put it to the test. And I really did not feel well that day. But I decided to just do my meditations, allow myself the time to visualize myself exactly as being well, perfectly well, thinking of that. It's very easy. It's very easy to be well. And I would think about what I would do, how I would act, where I would go, what I would experience and see. And so then once I'm done with my meditation, then it's go time. It's now time to start acting like that person who was in that visualization. I'm now stepping out and acting in faith. And so we were having a party that night, and I didn't really participate in the party, but I continued to let myself just stay calm, because it's not about control. It's not about like grabbing a hold of this thing and like forcing it out of your body, because that's never going to work. You're not going to bully this thing out of you. You're going to have to let go and allow it to be what it is. And I think the most important part is to thank your body for what it's doing. And I remember doing that. I remember not fighting it, because I was thankful that my body was doing what it needed to in order to take care of me, in order to get me back to wholeness of wellness. And even though I didn't participate in the party that night, the next day I was well, and I had never thrown up, and I didn't get sick, other than just not feeling well on a certain level. So then the next day, when I was well, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, it worked, it totally worked. And I remember thinking how cool this was, and I wanted to keep going with it. And once I got home, and I did continue to get colds, and at first they didn't go away right away. They were rather than lasting a month, they were lasting like 2 weeks. You know, at the time I was like, I'll take it. And then little by little, as I was doing it, like especially once you're sick, like that's a tough time to really think, okay, I'm well, and I'm going to act and be well. That's a hard time to do it, because you're like, I'm not well, I'm literally sick. You know, you have to put away those thoughts. You can't think about yourself as you are, because if you do that, you're going to continue to be that, and you're at a low vibration. You need to get up to a high vibration. So in order to do that, you literally have to force yourself to become the person who has that. And that's what I would begin to do. If I got sick, I would just continue to do my meditations, thinking, visualizing myself as well right now. And little by little, it went down to 2 weeks, and then 1 week, and then a couple of days, and then 1 day. And then pretty soon it would be like I would get symptoms, and rather than really focusing on those symptoms like I used to do. Used to be, if I would get symptoms, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sick again. Like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be sick for probably like a month. I'm gonna be coughing and fever, and then my daughter's gonna get it, and then I'm probably gonna get it again. You know, you do all these things in your mind, and some people even take to social media. They're like, I'm so sick. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm not gonna be sick. Dang it all, I'm sick. You know, don't do those things. Cut those things out of your life, because you just visualized and experienced in your heart and in your mind that same visualization that I was doing during my meditations, only you're visualizing and experiencing yourself as somebody who is sick. And that's what I was doing. When I was doing all those things, I was experiencing myself as a sick person. And so, what do you know? I became sick. But the more and more that I meditated, pretty soon I would get symptoms, and rather than freaking out, I would notice it, but then I would put it aside. I wouldn't give it a single moment of my attention, and it goes away. And to this day, that is exactly what I do. Even we're in the midst of COVID, and I had gotten a sore throat probably like 4 or 5 days ago. And I will admit, in that moment, I was like, oh shit, COVID. But I remember I got a hold of myself, and I was like, that's not how I act. That's not what I do. I act and am well, because that's something that I do. And so I remember I put that aside, and I didn't think about it anymore, and I just continued to, I don't even do the meditation anymore. I just think of myself as well. It is in my subconscious mind. It is a behavior now that I do, I've mastered the skill of just being well, and it's in my body. And so that's what I did. I just thought, I put that fearful thought out of my mind about COVID, and just moved forward with my day. And so, then by the end of the day, it was gone, because I didn't give it any attention. And so when I don't give it attention and I just move on, I'm literally not thinking about these things. And so then you know, it'll just be like the next day or that night, and it's like, oh yeah, that's gone. Okay, see, I knew that would be nothing. That's what I always kind of think. And so that's just, I literally don't get sick anymore. And it's not to say that I never get symptoms, you know, like stuff like that does happen. Like every once in a while, I'll even almost like get like cramps or you know, some sort of like feeling in my knee. It almost feels like it could be an ache, and it'll just almost be like an onset. Or, you know, about once a year I do get a cough, and I don't take medicine for these things. I just don't pay attention to it, and I move forward with my life, and I am acting as someone who is well. And so I hope that all makes sense, and I think that's where I'm going to end it today, because I could go on about all of this stuff for hours and hours and hours, but I am really going to be teaching you in my next video about what exactly happens to you on a cellular level when you are thinking these thoughts of either fear and sickness, or if you're thinking love and wellness and appreciation and thankfulness. So I hope that you will tune in, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much.